Hi, this is John at Lancaster Archery Supply with a brand new Hoyt Recurve Riser for 2020. The Hoyt Xceed is a 25-inch Grand Prix style riser, and to help me introduce this riser to you today, I've got Mackenzie Brown, who came from Chula Vista, to help me. She's a Hoyt shooter, Olympian, national champion. She's won just about everything there is to win in the United States with a recurve bow in her hand. She's going to help me describe this new riser and tell everybody what's unique and valuable about the new design. Mackenzie, I see a lot of Hoyt in here. Mm-hmm. Some things are similar to risers from last year, but there seems to be a lot new too. So I'm going to describe what I see is new and what is a continuation from last year, and if you could help me to describe why these changes are important. Obviously, the grip is the same. What's great about Hoyt risers starting last year was they send two grips. Two grips give us the opportunity to customize one of those two grips or both of them the way we want. What do you do when you get a new grip out of the box?
So normally a recurve archer would take a grip and either sand it down or add some plumber's putty to it so that you can make it really fit to your hand exactly how you shoot. The other plus to having two grips is that if you want to switch up your color scheme, you can have a white grip versus a black grip.
That was a great addition last year. Continuing this year's fantastic. VertaTune plates. VertaTune plates have been around for a while. They changed the height of our cushion plunger. 3 plates. You've shot Hoyt for a long time. How do you use those plates?
I personally use the middle plate. It's a similar geometry to a lot of other risers that I've shot in the past, like the Formula RX. You've got the higher plate, which a lot of high-performance archers like to use. A lot of my teammates use the high plate, and then also the low plate. It's something that's very personal to you. Like you need to definitely practice it, tune it, see what works best for you. But I personally have found that the middle plate is the most forgiving for me.
Excellent. So the grip and the VertaTune continuations from last year. Now let's look at what's new. And to find what's new, I start by looking into the limb pockets, and I see right away both pieces of hardware in the limb pocket have changed. Can you describe the changes to the bolts and describe the changes you see in the dovetails?
So starting with the bolts are going to be a little bit different. With last year's bow, we had a bolt that had expanding threads for the top of the tiller, and then now we have a flat bolt with a set screw on the backside. So
last year we had an expanding collet style screw system that would lock by expanding the bolt. Now we have, actually we saw this a few years ago with Hoyt limb bolts. We have a set screw that comes nose to nose with the limb bolt. So you think that changes what about the way that limb bolt performs?
I personally just like that it's very solid. With two flat pieces, it's more likely not to move. That's something that I'm always checking on my bow, is making sure that everything's tight and staying in place, because when you tune, everything's tight, so you want to make sure that when you perform, everything is tight as well. So limb bolts are really important to make sure that those are good to go. But it's also always really important when you set up your bow to check your tiller alignment and make sure that you have the same that you tuned with.
Right. Then the limb pocket hardware or the dovetail hardware. This is what I was fixated on when I first opened the package. There was a big change last year where Hoyt switched from their dowel system to a laterally adjusting pocket using opposing set screws. That was a big deal and a big change. I was happy about it because I prefer this method, the adjusting screws. But looking closely, I see something else different there. Tell me what you think about the change. You obviously were very familiar with the dowel system, so you learned about this system last year, but also tell me what you see that's changed as well.
Yeah, so we definitely moved away from the dowel system, so no more shims in the limb alignment. So it's more accurate as far as how I want my string to line up in some biter blocks. Right. So when I'm looking at the limb alignment along with the riser and the stabilizer, it's so much easier with these fine-tune adjustments to be able to have my bow line up exact. Sometimes when you would use shims, you would have to use half shims,
right.
and sometimes you would need a quarter shim, but you can't find those.
You can't find those because it was a fixed adjustment. So if we
Yes.
were just a little bit to the right, we would put a half shim in, and that may bump us across perfectly aligned to just a little bit to the left.
Yep.
Now your adjustment is infinite, and you can go right down the center.
Yep.
Then looking at the dovetail, this is brand new, and I've been fixated on this since taking this out of the package. I see an adjustable block on either side of your dovetail slot that changes the pivot point of the limb deflection. Tell me about that and how that could affect archers.
Yep, so these are the rockers for the limb. This is where the limb contacts on the riser. So now we've added STT, which is string tension technology. That's something that you can adjust for the last phase of your shot, the expansion phase as we call it. It can be either more stiff at the end, which is here at the end where
That's
we've got the plates.
Position one is furthest towards the end of the riser. There's a second and a third position.
Yep, the third position is going to be the softer feel, and then the middle is a compromise. The one thing that we do have to use shims in is these plates. We've got these small brass shims here, and those will adjust the limb tip alignment. So sometimes when you set a bow up, the limb tip will sit one side or the other, and we've got these nice brass shims that come just like the Formula X before, that you will be able to adjust the limb tip alignment and get that working perfectly.
Perfect. Now, moving into what's really unique outside of the limb pockets is some weight adjustments. That's something we've never seen before from Hoyt, something that I'm really excited about because I help a lot of barebow customers. I've got two styles of weights that can attach to this riser to help us change the balance. Obviously, this massive barebow weight might not be something you would use, but we have Lim Pocket Weights. Lim Pocket Weights are steel weights, 1.5 ounces each. We can add one weight to the bottom pocket and one weight to the top pocket, or we can add 2 weights to the bottom and 2 weights to the top. I should be clear, these are sold separately from the riser, but when you purchase these weights, you can use that to fine-tune your riser. I imagine it's something you may play with to get the bow tuned the way you would tune it.
Yeah, as an Olympic recurve shooter, I think I would play around with these. If I were to buy a package, I would probably put one in the top limb. I personally like to have the bow fall away pretty quick,
Right.
and so having a little bit of weight on the top would be really nice to play with. So definitely a good adjustment for Hoyt, and it's awesome to see some support for you barebow guys.
For the barebow team, yes. So this barebow weight is awesome. It's a clamshell design. There's 2 weights. There's an aluminum version and a stainless steel version. Stainless steel is 32 ounces. Aluminum version is 15 ounces. And it's modular, so the side plates can be stacked. So I can continue adding side plates outward. Aluminum side plates are 2.7 ounces, and the steel side plates are 8 ounces. So I could add steel side plates to either side of the riser, and often archers are going to want to move the center of balance laterally, so you can stack plates on both sides or just one side at a time, 8 ounces or 2.7 ounces at a time. When it comes to attaching the barebow weights, it is a modular clamshell design, so the weight is just going to fit inside the cutouts of the riser here. The easiest way that I've found is to remove one cover plate, which is 7 screws, and just drop this weight riser down onto your weight like this, and then we add the cover plate back on, and you've got 7 button head screws that are going to attach that to the riser. 32 ounces or 15 ounces, and you've got a great barebow riser from Hoyt. Something I'm really excited about.
Absolutely.
A riser that I'm excited about, available in 9 different matte colors. This is a gorgeous Hoyt red. Hoyt's known for its red, and once again they've hit a home run on that color, but 9 color choices. It's going to be a great looking riser, hopefully a great shooting riser for 2020. So Mackenzie, thank you for helping me introduce the Xceed Riser. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button at the bottom and subscribe. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, hit the little bell at the bottom. That's going to give you a notification of when we are adding videos like this. Questions about the Xceed Riser, you can call and talk with one of our tech experts or see us at lancasterarchery.com.